Cover crops are one of the more intimidating aspects of gardening for basically beginners, and even for seasoned pros, it can be a challenge. Now with this, I've got this winter rye, planted it last year, and unfortunately and fortunately, the summer came a little early here in northern Michigan, so I'm gonna have to terminate my winter rye almost a full 3 weeks earlier than I had planned on. So there's some issues that come with that and concerns. We're gonna go over those, but stick around if you wanna see how I terminate my cover crop to get ready for planting here in northern Michigan. You see here with my winter rye, it's about 18 inches tall right now, and really at its tallest. It's not even mature yet. We don't have anything even close to wheat berries coming out. So this is well before when you typically want to terminate. So there's some special steps that I have to take. All right, first for me is taking care of this section over here. Now this is the north side of my garden. This is where my corn and my sunflowers were hanging out last year. I had some 15-footers. That was great. It was beautiful. However, when I did clear them out of here, I didn't get all the stalks all the way down to the ground, and that's extremely important. That's basically rule number one when you're looking to basically take care of your cover crop here, especially when it plays some plastic around down here to kill it, is you want to have it as level as possible. You don't want to have anything necessarily sticking up for that plastic to be hitting, because rain's going to get on it, wind's going to be going, and it'll start tearing a hole. It makes that a possibility. So, just take your time, check out your area, and you want to make sure it's as level as possible. Yeah, you can see what I mean, like right here. I've got almost 4 inches worth of height right there. I just got to get rid of it. So, I'm just going to come in here and nip it right off there. Now that we've got everything leveled off, I'm gonna come in, hit it with the old weed eater, knock everything down, get it ready for the plastic. You can see this is the other reason why people use cover crops. You end up with a nice mulch at the end of it. Now, I'm gonna let this sit for a day. I'm gonna come back tomorrow and put the plastic on it. And the reason is because little guys like this that I missed and didn't kill off are gonna poke their heads back up. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, it's now tomorrow, and I've had a chance to kind of look over the scene here to see how well I did with the weed eater. As I mentioned, there's always gonna be some additional plants that, as you were knocking stuff down, taking care of it, where it gets knocked over before you get a chance to get in there with the weed eater and get a good kill on it, and you can be able to see these throughout. So this here is exactly what I was talking about. You got a full plant here, somehow missed by the weed eater, so we're gonna come back and get this. And the reason being is you get the plastic on here, it'll bend it over, but it'll keep growing sideways, and it may have a hard time solarizing it and killing it off. So we just want to stress it by nipping it down here, let the plastic and the sun do its job. Well, it's time to get my plastic down, and this is just, plastic sheeting I got from Lowe's, the 12 by 50 foot, 1.5 mil, dual purpose. I'm painting the house too, so this box should be used mostly out here, but I got another box to help finish off, and the rest is gonna be for the house. But with this, we got to get this down. I've got this area of my garden, which you've seen me take down the cover crop, and on the live stream yesterday. If you haven't subscribed, you want to do so, hit the notification bell, and you can catch me when I go live. When I'm out here in the garden, I'm working in the greenhouse, doing stuff around the property. So hopefully I earned your subscription today, but check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. But on stream, we took care of the rest of the garden as far as the cover crop, knocking that down same way we did over here. So today I'm going to be covering up about 80% of my garden that I have here with plastic sheeting, start killing off the cover crop and get ready for planting in a few weeks. So let's get to it. So you want to take your time and don't rush it, and just make sure you have heavy items. Again, I'm going to be using wood. I've got some stones to place on top of the plastic as you go along. Okay, just being careful as you're doing it. So like I said, just take your time, folks. And one thing just to be aware of the wind is not your friend when you're doing this. So as you're doing this, just take your time, but the more boards you have to help, or the more things you have to kind of weigh the plastic down as you're getting situated. Obviously, if you have a friend, you know, that can help you out, that'd be preferable. If not, what I don't want you to do is worry. Don't rush. Don't make too big of a deal out of it. Don't make too big of a deal of it here. Just take your time and just make sure you get good coverage. All right, so I've got the first one down, but I've just got boards that are laying around it. So now just on to the next piece of plastic, which we're gonna run right across here. So here's a top tip for you. If you have prevailing wind in your area, so like for instance, my wind comes from the south here. What I'm gonna do is, I started here, I'm gonna layer my next bit of plastic over the top of this one. So that way the wind won't be going in and catching on the far one here. So do your best. I mean, some areas don't have a prevailing wind and it's a thing, but for me, it's something I need to make sure I keep top of mind, because here in northern Michigan, when the wind decides to blow, it does its thing. All right, well, I got the first two layers down. Let's take a look at it so you can see kind of what it looks like, and you can see where it's already starting to solarize. And as you can see, we got the first two layers down here. Let's go over here a bit. Careful, I'm stepping. You can just kind of see here where we're already getting condensation is starting to pick up. And what that's doing is creating that hothouse effect underneath that plastic that's going to basically be roasting our cover crop. And as additional benefit, any of those seeds that didn't germinate yet. So, you know, that's why we do it. All right, well, let me finish up the rest of the garden that I'm gonna do, and we'll come back and show you the finished product. Well, part two is mostly done here. As you can see, got everything down. I'm gonna place in some of these areas here where you see there's some, like right in here, could use a little bit. I have some broken pieces of tile that I kept. I keep everything, as you can tell. I mean, there's part of a pallet that I keep everything just because, for reasons like this. Any place you see where there's little spots at, I'm gonna drop a brick in. And I've got those leftover pieces from when I put a floor in this guy right here, my greenhouse. There'll be a link to it somewhere up in this area here. If you want to check out that video, pretty straightforward how to do it. So, and you'll see as you do this, again, the goal here in the first part is just to get stuff down. We're gonna come clean it up here, you know, secure it, obviously between these gaps here a little bit more. And then on this area here, and again, you're gonna have monuments, you know, like for instance, I have these old clothesline poles that were in the property when I moved here. I moved them over into the garden because they're my trellis, right? You can see trellis, right? So I've got to work around them, and that's what I've got. You know, I've got additional plastic over there, which I'm just going to run that down real quick here and do that. You know, it's going to take a little bit of time just to do it right. So I'll show you what the finished product looks like once I have bricks down and I have all of that squared away. See you in a minute. Well, as you can see, I got the plastic down on my garden here. Everything's getting solarized. Everything's getting very unhappy underneath the plastic as we're talking here. So over the course of the next couple weeks, it's gonna kill off everything that needs to be killed off. And with this, over the next, you know, week or so, we're gonna have rain, we're gonna have wind. I'll have to come out here and make some adjustments to the plastic, and I'll be checking on it every day, a couple times a day until it's set. But then a few weeks, I'll be able to take this off, break out my broad fork, loosen up the soil, and start getting my stuff planted. Looking forward to it. Hit that notification bell. I go live most every single day between 3 to 5 p.m. out here in the garden, in my greenhouse, doing projects around the house. It's a good time. We get together and we all just kind of chat it up and learn from each other. So with that, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.